Well, a few weeks ago we brought you the quest to solve the 60-year-old mystery of just who was the Somerton Beach man. We're pleased to report that there has been some progress.
This is the story so far. In March, 2 electrical engineering students and their lecturers visited West Terrace Cemetery, pacing out 40 steps to find the grave of an unknown man and set themselves on a quest to solve his identity.
40! This is it, guys. 40 paces exactly, that's amazing. What we're dealing with here is probably one of South Australia's most enduring mysteries. A man was found dead on Somerton Beach in 1948. There was no cause of death determined. We don't know who he is. He's unknown to this day.
It's always been suspected that the Somerton Beach man was poisoned, though whether it was murder or suicide, who knows. The only clue found on him was a scrap of paper on which was printed the words Taman Shud. It had been torn out of a copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. The rest of the book was found tossed in the back seat of a car at Glenelg. When the police opened the book, they found a series of letters. It may be a code, but if so, the meaning has never been deciphered. And so for the past 2 months, the electrical engineering students have been trying to crack that code. Now, after a series of statistical tests and computer modelling, they can reveal some progress.
At this stage, the statistics seem to say that it's most likely to be English, but we don't yet know that for sure. More research needs to be done in that area.
Of course, they've got to extend this study now and look at other languages to get further confirmation, but I think the initial results are very encouraging.
They have also tested whether the code is in fact a code rather than just random gibberish.
What we've discovered so far is that there are certain letters that seem to be more prominent in terms of just random ramblings, and those letters do not seem prominent in the code. And that leads to the idea that it's not just random ramblings. We do need to have a look at it of people under the influence in case he wrote it when he was under the influence of a poison, but at this stage we don't have results from that.
As poisoning people isn't really an option, the students say the easiest way to replicate the effects of poison will be to test their uni mates after an evening at the pub. And there have been other advances too. The quest to crack the code now has a site on Facebook. That turned up from New Zealand this rare copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, which could aid the hunt for clues. The original has long since been lost, and as former Safehole major crime investigator Jerry Feltus explains, this copy is the closest to the original he's ever seen.
I've checked bookshops throughout Victoria, New South Wales, most of South Australia, trying to find an identical copy of that particular font, and this is the first copy I've ever seen.
But perhaps the most significant advance comes not from the code, but from the mystery man's ears. Maciej Henenberg is Professor of Anatomy at the University of Adelaide, and when he saw pictures of the dead man, something about the ears caught his eye.
In this person, which can happen, but it's rare, the part leading into the ear canal, so the cavum, is small, whereas the other part is big, so the rim of the ear comes in very low, which means that it could be fairly easy, probably, having enough photographs of ears of people of that time, to single out the few individuals that then can be further matched with this particular person.
Professor Henenberg says from his studies this type of ear shows up in less than 2% of the population. And for doubters, he says ears are in fact very good identifiers of people. In 2000, the professor provided police with forensic evidence about an accused bank robber's ears, and according to Maciej Henenberg, it was the first time in Australia such evidence helped secure a conviction.
It's nearly as good as fingerprints, not quite, but ears fairly close to fingerprints.
None of these features were remarked upon 60 years ago at the time of the coronial inquest. I believe it's a breakthrough.
When they started this project, both the students and Derek Abbott entertained doubts they might not find anything. But now, 2 months on, they believe that perhaps they had the best chance in 60 years of giving the unknown man back his name.